Hey guys, and welcome back to the internet. So I know a lot of you have been asking questions about my cat, Faye. So at the end of this video, I'm going to be answering a few questions I've had about her. But first, we got some stories to read. Starting with, Mean Lady hates everyone, especially us. We buy her house after she failed to pay her debt. So the house we live in was built the same time as hers. My parents were often at the construction site and help if they can. The strange lady was nice to us at the beginning, but that changed soon. This happened around Christmas of 2017. We have a neighbor who is very unpopular in our neighborhood. She is known for harassing people who use the public path at the left of her house. The path is 1 out of 3 to reach the public playground from behind her house. If someone uses the path, she would scream at them that this is her path, on her private property, which is wrong. She sometimes would close the path with a red and white plastic chain and won't let anyone use the path. She would scream at kids on the playground when they were loud, at daytime. She always has her shutters almost down so she can stalk the people on the street and stay unseen. If some kid's ball landed in her garden, she would bring it to the kid and destroy it with a knife right in front of them. All the kids knew this and would run by her house if they wanted to go on the playground. When the neighbor's kids were playing in the winter, outside in the snow, she would call the CPS equivalent in my country and tell them they were locked outside by their parents as punishment. If someone walked by their house at night, she would often call the police due to a noise complaint. She was known to everyone in this neighborhood as the witch. But she hated my family in particular. We lived right beside her house. Our houses shared one wall. When me and my sister were young, we would swing in our garden or jump on our trampoline. She would regularly file noise complaints and often harass me and my sister when we were alone in our garden. If my parents heard her screaming swear words at us from the first floor of her own house, they would yell back. If me or my sister walked on the path by her house, she would scream at us. We used the path daily on our way to school. One time when I came home from school, she was in her car with the trunk on the sidewalk. When I walked by the back of the car, she howled the engine and dark exhaust hit me. Almost every night she would hit the shared wall with something to wake us up. Sometimes she rings on our door and tries to make us go to the other neighbors to complain about small things. We often had lawsuits with her. One time because her trees grew 2 meters over the border. Another time because she built a fence by sticking bamboo mats in the dirt and tearing it down the next day and telling the police we destroyed her wooden fence. We won all the lawsuits against her because my uncle, he's teaching law school, gave us good advice on how to deal with her and named lawyers he knew were good. She never paid the workers who repaired things at her house, and the electrical and water bills. When her old car broke down, she didn't pay the car mechanic, and never got her car back. She went in debt and had a mortgage on her house. When the foreclosure came, we went to the court and bought her house. She was with us in the courtroom when the auction was, and tried to buy her own house, but wasn't allowed because she couldn't provide proof that she had enough money. We bought her house where she lived for 20 plus years, right in front of her. We bought it because my parents were at the construction of her house, and knew the workers did a great job at building it. We renovated when she left. We repainted all rooms, renewed the insulation, and put everywhere where no tiles were new wooden floor. My grandparents will be moving in her old house this fall. Wow, so you got a new house and you got rid of your bad neighbor. It's like a double win. Alright, so I know you're all here for terrible stories of terrible people, but now we're going to read a story from Tales from Your Server called It Finally Happened, A Table Made Me Cry. I'd like to start by saying that the majority of the staff of the restaurant I work at works Friday nights and double on Saturday and a double on Sunday. Come Sunday, we're all exhausted and our brains are mush. My first table of the morning is finishing up and I do my usual, I know it's a silly question after breakfast, but did we save any room for dessert? And the woman asked what we have. I ran through the list and she said she'd just like a scoop of vanilla ice cream. I don't know what happened, but as soon as I stepped away, I lost all memory of her asking for ice cream. It sucks, but since I'm still only human, it happens. I drop off their check and the woman asks about the ice cream. I apologized and said I'd be right over with it. She could not have been nicer or more understanding, and I told her that I appreciate how understanding she was. And as I was walking away, she said, "When you come back, I'll tell you why I'm so understanding." I rang it on a separate ticket, paid for it myself, and ran out as quickly as I could. When I dropped it off, the woman said, "I'd like to tell you why I ordered this. Today is the 9th-month anniversary of the day my 36-year-old daughter was killed by a drunk driver. This tattoo on my wrist is her final heartbeat before she passed away. Vanilla ice cream was always her favorite dessert. Yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of the day my dog passed away, so my emotions surrounding death are a little bit raw. I couldn't help it, but I started to cry. I gave her a hug, told her that I appreciate that she shared that with me, and told her I'll be back once I get a grip on myself. I walked past my boss, said, 'Cover my tables, I need a cigarette,' then sat outside and cried. When I came back, her and her husband were gone. It's an hour into my shift and I'm already a mess. A few hours later, a family of 3 sat down. I could tell their 5-year-old son was somewhere on the spectrum, so I let his mom do the talking for him since I didn't want to make him uncomfortable by asking him a bunch of questions that he may or may not be able to answer. They all placed their order, and they ordered a pepperoni pizza for the little guy. When I went back to check on them, I noticed that he was only eating the pepperonis. I figured he was just waiting until the pizza cooled down, but when I checked back again, he was still just eating the pepperonis. I go to my cook, explain the situation, and ask if he'll give me a bowl of pepperoni so this kid can leave with a full belly. My cook, being a fantastic man that he is, asked me if he should throw them in the oven for him so that they're the same as what he's been eating, or if they're okay raw. Then he said, F it, he's getting both. A few minutes later, I walked back and told them that I had noticed he was only eating the pepperoni, and set down a big bowl of pepperoni for the little man. The mom teared up and said, "You have no idea how badly we get treated at restaurants. We've been driving all day, we're exhausted, and this is the nicest thing you could have done for us." For me, it was just problem solving. It's dinner time, the kid is hungry, the kid is only eating one thing, so I need to get more of that thing to the kid. For the parents, it was so much more. They shared some stories of other restaurants they've been to, and what they told me absolutely horrified me. No one deserves crappy service or crappy remarks just because their child is fighting a different battle than we are. He may not be able to verbalize all that he'd like to, but he can hear everything, and I can't imagine the things he's heard people say about him just because they think he doesn't understand what's going on. I got a high five from that little piece of perfect on his way out the door tonight, and it was the best high five of my life. Today was a day of a lot of tears for me. Why am I crying while typing this? But I had two amazing experiences, and I'm really thankful that my 31 years of living led me to those tables, on this day, at this restaurant. I live in a vacation destination, so the odds of me getting to wait on them again are slim to none, but I'm never going to forget this day. You know, I think when you work customer service jobs, you get so caught up in pretty much trying to force yourself to act like a robot. Because you have to be doing the same thing over and over again. You're just going about your day, you know, same objective, different person. And I think it's kind of nice when you get to break away from the monotony and actually be like a real person again. Alright, that's enough wholesome for these stories. Now back to terrible people. Entitled Mom tries to get a full refund and free meal. Fails spectacularly. So let's get some important background info first. I'm a manager at a certain fast food chain. The day that this happened, I was wearing a crew shirt over my manager uniform as I was doing some deep cleaning in the store. This is important. Originally, I was not scheduled to work that day, but offered to come in and help get ready for a visit from upper management. Ready? Let's start. So the entitled mom walks into the store, visibly angered. I say, "Hello, what can I do for you today?" "You idiots gave me 5 napkins instead of 4. You guys are lazy and sloppy." I say, "I'm sorry that you received 5 napkins instead of 4. The crew has been crazy busy tonight, and they've been getting out orders as quickly and accurately as they can. These things happen from time to time, and I'm sorry that you were displeased with our service." At this point I was pissed. Insulting the crew and being completely unreasonable over a single napkin wasn't very mature. However, I still stayed calm and didn't let her know I was frustrated. "I demand a full refund and a free meal right now." I was like, "Ma'am, I'm afraid I can't do that, as nothing of value has been lost. If you fill out the feedback section on your receipt, you can receive a discount on your next purchase." "I will not have it. You little turds give free stuff to other customers." I was boiling inside. At this point, she was drawing attention and being a nuisance to all the other customers. But as before, I showed no aggression. I was like, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but in those cases a customer was either overcharged or a mistake on their food order had been made." "I'm done. Don't give a F what you have to say, a-hole. Get me a manager now." This was it. The best power move I'd ever make. Right in front of her, I look off the crew shirt to reveal my manager shirt. I say, "Hi, I'm the manager, and like I said, I will not give you a refund or a free meal. Especially after you betrayed my coworkers and me. I ask if you are not going to purchase anything that you will leave the store. Thank you, have a nice day." The entitled mom's face became pale and had a look of horror. Needless to say, she quickly left the store, never been back since. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Working in a line of food service can be tough, and I'll always have respect for those who do it. I love how dramatic all of these scenarios are getting now. Karen uses manager attack. Attack misses. Manager uses reveal. It's super effective. But I guess they have to spice it up somehow when we've heard the same story 100 times. But now we've got one more big story before the question. This one's called, Entitled Mom Misses Her Kid's Appointment Because She Was Too Busy Watching TV. So I'm an optician. I'm mostly watching the sidelines for this one, but I figured y'all would appreciate the story anyway. So this entitled mom and nice kid come in and check in. They were a smidge early for their appointment, 15 minutes or so, and after they checked in, they sat down. The nice kid was quietly playing something on an iPad. For those of you unfamiliar with waiting rooms, most have TVs where they play something for the patients to watch. For us, it's nature shows, so there doesn't need to be sound. Just pretty fish swimming around. Entitled Mom, for the most part, is watching the TV, totally enamored at the sharks. Soon enough, 15 minutes pass by, and Entitled Mom gets called. The vision tech says, Entitled Mom? Entitled Mom last name? She just keeps watching TV. So the tech and I make eye contact, and I nudge towards the Entitled Mom. The tech shrugs and calls her name again, then retreats. 5 minutes later, the tech tries again, and this time the nice kid pokes his mom and whispers to her. The mom shushes the kid and continues watching TV. The tech retreats again and tries another 5 minutes later, this time walking up to her. Says, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you Entitled Mom?" She says, "Yes, what do you want?" He says, "We're ready for you to come back for your kid's appointment." She says, can't you see we're busy? Come back later. He says, ma'am, your appointment was booked 15 minutes ago. He says, it's not my appointment, it's my son's. The kid says, it's okay, Mommy, I can go myself. The mom says, nonsense, we want to watch the fishies. Ma'am, we have the same show in the waiting room. Leave us alone, I will tell you when we are ready. That's not how appointments work. I don't care, I will stay here and watch my show. The tech and I make eye contact again, and I shrug and go back to writing emails. The tech sighs and makes her way to the back of the office, probably to ask the officer manager what to do. 10 minutes later, the tech comes out and talks with her again. Ma'am, if your son doesn't come in for his appointment, you will need to be rescheduled. This show is always on, and you won't miss anything. She just ignores her. Look, kid, dolphins. Ma'am, Ooh, wow, look at that splash. Your appointment. Wow, kid, look at that. Okay. So the tech walks out and the other patients get called. Now this lady literally kept watching the 2-hour special and finale. After the credits rolled out, she walks up to the desk. At this point, I'd gone to lunch and came back and she was still there. She says, okay, we're ready now. At the front desk, they're just, sorry, for what? For my kid's appointment. They say, ma'am, you were checked in over 2 hours ago. Your appointment is already finished. She says, that's ridiculous. We never went back. The tech called you 5 times, well past your appointment time. Well, we were watching the fishes on your TV. Well, I understand that, ma'am, but your appointment was at 10 a.m. It's now noon. You'll have to be rescheduled. That's crap. We've been here waiting. It's not my fault that you had a good show on. Ma'am, as much as we appreciate the feedback on the shows we have in the waiting rooms, you missed your appointment. I might be able to squeeze you in for 3 p.m. if you're able to come back. No, we will be seen now. The kid says, Mommy, the lady told you. Be quiet, kid. The grown-ups are talking. I'm sorry, ma'am. Other than rescheduling you, the doctor will not be able to see you today. We were watching the show. I understand, but you missed your appointment, so we will need to reschedule you. It's not for me, it's for him. Jabbing her finger at the little boy. Well, then we'll have to reschedule him for his eye appointment. You people are ridiculous. If you don't want people watching your TV, don't have them on. Well, I apologize for having entertainment in the waiting room. Can I reschedule you for the next available appointment? She turns bright red and threw her hands up in the air and stormed off, without her kid. The poor kid stood there for a few moments before running after his mom. I went over and congratulated the front desk person for her unyielding patience. Man, I've heard of people being addicted to TV watching, but never this bad. Alright, now we've got a few stories coming up in the question of the day, which is, have you ever got scammed? What happened? So in the mid-90s, my friend got all of these letters saying that he was part of a contest, and he just had to keep mailing letters in to enter the drawing. The word they put in the letter was something like, you've made it to the final round, and congratulations, we are now prepared to write you a check for $10,000. All he had to do was call a 1-900 number that charged $2 a minute. It took him about 10 minutes to navigate to the automated menus once they told him he was a winner, and it ended with, and you have won, drumroll, $1. Man, these scammers in the 90s were pretty innovative. They were doing this before the internet was even a big thing. So not me, but a customer at Best Buy. A customer came in demanding to speak with a manager regarding a TV he had ordered. The manager he asked for was Tammy, and we had no managers by that name, nor pickup orders for this customer in our system. I asked for more details. The customer had responded to a Craigslist ad for an unbelievable price on a TV. The seller claimed to be a manager at our store, and instructed him to make a payment by purchasing gift cards for the asking price. Then send pics of the back of the gift cards to the seller. The customer did all of this, then was advised the TV would be ready for pickup at our store. Needless to say, there was no TV for him. He demanded to speak to an actual manager, who kindly informed him that he was out of luck. Anytime someone says that you need to pay them via gift card, just run. The reason they always try to scam gift cards out of people is because that's the hardest thing to retrace, and there's no way to get refunds on that kind of thing. Here's another Best Buy one. A Best Buy employee convinced me I needed one of their $60 HDMI cables if I wanted Xbox game and action movies to look good on my TV. This was probably 10 years ago, and I didn't know much about electronics back then. I'm still pretty salty about it. See, I'm under the mindset that like 90% of things that you can buy are not worth buying. So if you can get yourself into that mindset, then you become a lot more financially stable. I got white van scammed when I was 18 out front of Best Buy. Wow, this is turning into a Best Buy thread. A guy or two showed up out front of the store like Best Buy with stereo-type equipment, TV speakers, projectors, etc., that in reality aren't worth more than the packaging. They proceed to tell you that they already delivered everything to hit up their quota, and if they bring them back to the warehouse, they will still lose on just selling them because someone else will. They follow this up with stock sheets and magazines showing the retail price of said projectors and speakers, at some outrageous price like $2,000, and say that you can take them for anywhere between $1,000 or $200, depending on how far you get them down. Then you get them home and figure out they either don't work or are the worst quality products ever made. Stupid me lost $350, This was back in 2008. This scam still happens today, so beware. Man, this thread's making me want to stay away from Best Buy. Someone once tried to use my credit card to book an online trip. My credit card company called me and we had this conversation. Hello, Mr. Guy. We've noticed that the trip to Cancun you just purchased online was slightly over your limit. We've gone ahead and bumped up your limit so you wouldn't have any issues. I say, I didn't book a trip online. Could I get more information? Note, I had purposely kept a low limit because I know if I had it at my disposal, I would abuse it. They called about 5 to 10 times asking me to raise my limit. They say, there must be some mistake. Are you sure you didn't book this trip? I say, yeah, I'm sure. They say, well, in that case, would you like to open a fraud investigation into the purchase? I say, yes, please. They say, well, okay, we apologize. Is there anything else we can do for you today? I say, yes, I'd like to cancel my credit card. Instead of raising a red flag at a purchase over my limit and calling me to inquire about it, my credit card company automatically bumped up my limit without my consent and called me to tell me the good news. Well, at least they called you. Honestly, anytime I make some kind of large purchase or buy something like out of state, I'm always worried that the bank is going to call me and be like, was this really you? And I'm just like, yeah, it's me, don't worry about it. I know it's weird. Yes, so I work at a daycare over the summer, and I ordered this hair wax online that changed the color of your hair for the day. As I use hair wax every day, I was like, this would be so cool for Color Week, and paid $53.92 for all 5 colors they offered. The next morning I woke up to the whole bank account being drained. Luckily I called my bank and they were able to fix it and send me a new card. But that's not where the story ends, because I actually got the product, and after using it once, my hair started to fall out. So yay, I just shaved my head that summer. Man, these are some malicious scammers. They're trying to hit you while you're down. Talk about not being subtle. Well, that brings us to the end of the stories again today. As promised, I've got an interview with my cat coming up right now, so thanks for watching. So a couple years ago, I went over to an animal shelter nearby, and they had probably like 50 or 60 cats there up for adoption, and I was just kind of looking around, playing with a few of them. And then I saw one over in the corner, just sleeping, minding her own business. Her name was Snickerdoodle. And I thought, this one's cute. So I took her home. I named her Faye. I don't know exactly how old she is. I think she was born in early 2013, and then I got her in early 2017. So yeah, I got her on Valentine's Day of 2017. And she's been my owner ever since. You have anything you want to add? Okay.